black men. Y'all know that. And listen, you ask a black woman, is all men dogs? Most of them will say yes. Ask her. A black woman will tell you that every nigga ain't nothing. Every nigga is a dog. Have y'all ever heard this before? Am I saying something y'all ain't never heard? No. Am I speaking Spanish? You grow up hearing these terms, and they're fine. But the minute somebody says something about white people, you lose your damn mind. When you grew up with evil talk about black people your whole life.
Many modern-day black women hate black men. I guess I should make the usual disclaimer that not all black women hate black men. I will say that not even most black women hate black men, period. They may have a respect problem with black men in general, but not deep down hatred. However, this younger generation of black women, who are mainly below the age of around 30, college educated, corporate American job working, and single, are something unlike any other black women in society. Many modern-day black women really do not have any value for black men. I was listening to Sergeant Willie Pete, who used to be here on YouTube a lot, who's now on Generation X, with his topic, 8 Reasons to Date White Men, The White Knight, which was a response to an article created by a black woman in some magazine justifying the need to get with white men. He made a very valid point on black women that I have never noticed before, yet it was undeniable. Sergeant Willie Pete stated, "You will hear many black women say, 'I am going to get me a white man.' And since when do black women go chasing after men in general?" End quote. The truth hit me right there. Black women do not go chasing after black men in general, or at least black men of the non-celebrity wealthy types. However, black women do actively go after white men and other non-black men in an aggressive manner. It must be black men who must grovel to black women to get basic attention from them. This is because, simply put, they have no respect for black men deep down. In their minds, who the hell is a black man to risk breaking their already fragile egos by running the risk of getting shot down, since he is the lowest man on the totem pole in society? It is the men who have to do the pursuing. The notion of black women being loyal to black men is now a thing of the past. Black love originated in harsh times for black people in America, and basically the world over. The overt racism, violence, and systematic corralling of blacks into poor areas basically forced black people to turn to each other for support. Fast forward to today, all hell has broken loose within black communities, and now the matriarchy and the hyper-feminist black women prevail. The women with education and money now see a white man as the ultimate solution. It is very obvious the black woman of today has a psychotic obsession with white men in particular. It is very rare you hear them declaring a Mexican, an East Indian, an Arab as the sole focus of their best assets. It is strictly white men. A few black women are now venturing into the Asian man fad, which you can usually see on YouTube in growing numbers. The low-class acting black women will serial date and breed with thugs out of sheer sexual gratification. There is no need for a dominant black man to be in a household anymore, or in the lives of many black women as far as they're concerned. I have never heard of any other race of woman state they do not need their men for anything other than black women in America. Even the feminist white women are starting to tone down their rhetoric because they have realized no one else but their men will give them the lifestyle they are accustomed to other than the white man. With modern day ambitious foreign black women here in America, the same thing with them too. Whereas white men are either in the elite class of men in their country and basically off limits or just an image on TV, now that they are here in America, they can go out and get the real deal in flesh and live out their utmost fantasies. That is until the reality hits them that white men are not gods like they were programmed to believe. Which brings me to my next point. Many black women tolerate madness from white men. I have heard numerous reports of black women who deliberately put up with racist rhetoric from white men on a regular basis but did not leave these men. In fact, it was the white men who end up leaving these black women instead. Many of the black women have mixed kids one after the other with racist white men, but you will never hear them badmouth the white man like they do black men. Black women accuse all black men of being deadbeat bums because black women had kids with low-life men who left them. Even black men with no children are lumped into the same category as deadbeat bums and shamed into, quote, stepping up the plate to care for another man's kids. Can you imagine the mentality of these kids coming from black women and racist white men? It's going to be a terrible sight on American society. You had an internet that was pretty famous that has now ended the career of Dr. Laura Schlesinger on her radio show. Some black woman called into her show and was complaining that her white husband was making derogatory racist remarks in front of her. The black woman felt she was going to get pity from Dr. Laura, but instead was mocked and had Dr. Laura using the word nigger like it was not offensive to blacks or this woman. This black woman knew she could never call a black radio show and ask for help because she would have been clowned into eternity for it. These black women want white men specifically, but not the inherent racism that many of them come with. To anyone who is wondering, why would white men marry black women yet hate the black race? It is simple. Men think with their penises and not about racial equality of the color of women they are with. In many men's mind, it is better to have a piece of ass in bed than none at all. Black men can have sex with white women and not give a damn about the concerns of white people in general. You will not hear many black men complain about racism even though he is with a white woman. He already knows black people will shun him and there will be no sympathy for him when the white woman lashes out on him in a racist tirade. He just keeps his mouth shut for his own good or just for the sake of keeping his penis satisfied. Black women will switch up for white men. What goes on with black men does not really go on with white men in regards to the treatment of men. A black man who likes rock music, for instance, skateboarding, snowboarding, horseback riding, bungee jumping is seen as totally odd by most black women. He will be labeled as whitewash, sellout, etc. The truth is, many black women are not into things like that. However, the black women who like things like that will usually go straight to white men who are into things like that and no other exception. Never mind the black man who could be compatible with her who are into the same things. White men are the only ones to be open-minded with. Then you have the more ordinary black women who speak proper English, or as some people say, speaking white, and dressing non-ghetto, who basically act like happy white women. I know many black men would prefer these black women over the ghetto acting type of black women out there, but this civilized behavior is basically reserved for white men. They will be with white men talking with that yada 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 crap and be all intimate with him, and especially in front of black men. Now this is one thing I have a problem with, and that is black women who have these non-black men and then make it obvious they want you to notice them. They have no interest in that black man whatsoever, but they want to inflict mental torment on the black man because she thinks the black man will be offended by it. Why would you want to cause mental torment on some man that you do not know, has never done anything to you, or even worse, one you do not want? This is a clear indicator of evil and sick minds to do this just for the sheer pleasure of doing so. You got your non-black prize, yet you continue to keep looking back at black men. Just get the hell on already, because you do not matter in black affairs at all anyways. You also see a growing number of attracting black women on YouTube, flaunting various assortments of non-black men, and doing things for these men that you as a black man might be wondering, why the hell can't I find one of these type of black women? The harsh truth is, you, Mr. Black Man, are not what these women are looking for. They are performing their best act to attract men other than you. You are not deemed worthy of good treatment since you do not have enough money to make them act accordingly or status in society. If these women do get with black men, then you already know the foul attitudes are going to be put on the black man out of the common belief that, well, this is just how it goes with niggas. It is hard to know if black women really like you these days. Black men, unlike any other race of man, has a sixth sense to where he can easily tell when someone hates him. It can be by body language, eye contact, or just a strange vibe coming at him from someone else. We already can sense this with racist and coward whites, Asians, Hispanics, but oddly enough, black women too are now included in this group of people. The cold vibes that many black women have towards decent black men in general makes the black man's mind lump them into the same group as these other non-black haters. Also, I know a lot of brothers can testify about this. You will see black women doing the usual thing of ignoring your basic existence, but as soon as you speak to another race of woman or even another attractive black woman, suddenly you will notice their eyeballs in your direction. You may be thinking like, what the hell is this all about? This broad never paid me any mind until she saw me with another woman. Well, I'm here to tell you brothers that for the most part, it really is female jealousy of each other and not the man in the middle of the scenario. If things do not work out with you and the interested woman, neither will it work out for the black woman who paid you no mind to begin with, unless you have something of material value that she feels that she can benefit off of. If not, she is out of there also. In conclusion, To all you decent and frustrated black men who really want to be with black women but are having hard times with them right now, you may have to wait on them until they wear themselves out with hoeing around and breeding with lowlifers. Or you can get serious about things now and explore your options by finding a compliant woman of another race, go overseas and interact with other women or with black women from other countries, which is what I am doing right now. But I can tell you this without a doubt, American black women will come back to you black men in the future when they realize they have been played out by thugs, non-black men, and even other black women. I live here in Atlanta, and a lot of black women here in Atlanta are into lesbianism, but that is a whole nother topic by itself. Now that I am older, I get so many black women who are in my age group who are so played out with numerous kids, overweight, and downright busted, looking in my direction that I have to be the one who is deliberately ignoring them now. I'm not flattered by this either, because what is going on is that these women are now played out and are looking to be rescued by some fool who is desperate for their attention. A lot of black men fall for it, but I will not be one of them. I want women at their best conditions and not their worst. The way I look at it now, what is the advantage of being with a black woman in America these days versus non-black women? Both groups of women view you in the same manner of suspicion, a last place deal, or some sexual mandingo for their thrills. You might as well go with whatever you are most attracted to, with whatever type of woman there is out there. The choice is yours if you want to end up either some consolation prize or let them suffer the consequences of their own destructive behavior. The choice is yours, black man.